Okay, so welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, thank you for having me. So my name's Heather, and I am a spiritual life mentor, intuitive spiritual life mentor, and also owner of the Magickal Emporium, in Suffolk. And my star sign, I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, same as me. Amazing.
Oh,
Oh, that's
what
when's
date?
your birthday?
Oh, the 20. Oh, no, it's so exciting, isn't
You're
it?
like, oh my God, another
Oh
Aquarius.
my God. The
Mine's the
29th,
10th. Yours the 29th.
29th of January. And what are
Nice.
you? What are
10th.
you? 10th. Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a good sign. It's a good sign.
I think so. We're always coming up with ideas. We're entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yeah. Although some people would say I'm too much up here all the time. But
Yeah,
yeah.
people have said that to me, and I'm like, that's a
Yeah.
good thing, though, isn't it? I want to be up there.
I know exactly. It's like I don't want to come down. My thing is you need to ground more. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, my husband's a Taurian, so he grounds me, so
Oh,
that's
that's good. Yeah.
perfect. So talk to me about the Emporium.
Well, that is kind of
Yeah.
my my bit that kind of links with how I stepped out as well. So
Yeah, so are you a witch?
I am indeed,
There you
yes.
go.
Proudly wearing one very much like yours.
Hey.
Yeah. But no, I am, but this is very much that. But yeah, I guess my story kind of with that kind of stepping out in the Emporium was very much we came on holiday here a lot to Suffolk. And I felt a very deep connection every time we came here on holiday.
Wow.
And the very last time we came, I think I literally cried all the way home because I literally was like, my soul belongs here. I just knew this is where I needed to
Oh,
be.
wonder if you had a past life there or something.
Yeah, I mean, my son's done a little bit of family looking down the old tree, and we have had people here in Suffolk, but I don't know, there was a more depth to why I needed to be here. And one day when we were just literally walking along the street, I said to my husband, I looked around and I went, I will have a shop here one day. I know I will. I was like, I just know I will. And, that was that. Sort of fast forward quite a bit.
Yeah.
Um, I ended up with a little shop here. So we're in the second oldest building in Hellsworth. So it's like 16th century.
Wow.
And honestly, the floorboards are like this. It's just
Oh,
perfect. It
God, I need
couldn't
to come.
be any more perfect. It's the original building. And we have Marjorie, who's our resident ghost. And so I asked her if she would be happy for me
Yeah.
to have a magical shop.
Mm.
And it just immediately felt like I was embraced. And I thought, yes, this is it. So I'm in a very Christian town. Um, so I was like, okay, I feel it. And literally, I just was like, this is where I need to be. And lots of people were saying to me, "Oh, no, it's not going to work. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it." And I was like, "No, this is it. This is what I have to do. I know this is what I need to do."
Yeah.
Um, and so I started with just this little shop, and my whole thing was I wanted to build a community. I wanted other people to feel safe, and to be able to be themselves, be who they
Yeah.
needed to be. And
Yeah.
I just knew that this was the place to be. I really, so this little magical shop appeared, where I sell we write our own spells, so we do our spell
Oh,
bags. We
beautiful.
have, the candles, we have everything. I've tried to bring a lot of local people in as well who make things so that the
Oh,
shop is very
brilliant.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
And it literally has gone from being this tiny little shop to a massive community. I mean, I still have this tiny little shop, but it feels like a lighthouse. It feels like there's this
Mm.
beacon of light, and the amount of people that come up to the shop and are like, "Oh, I just feel so at ease. I just feel immediately, I mean, I have lots of people that come up and we talk, they cry, uh, they release." And then
Mm.
they're like, I feel like I found my place, my people, so that's my shop, and
That's
that's
so
kind of, yeah, how it sort of all
amazing.
began with
Did you
that.
have any like issues from
Oh
the
yeah. Oh yeah, Emma. I'm glad you said that. No, yeah. Yes, yeah, well, we literally, oh
Mm,
gosh, I can't even. So there's a cafe underneath me, so the greenhouse, and it's a beautiful space. So we have that, beautiful cakes and everything else, and then I'm above that. You go up a little winding staircase, and I'm above that.
perfect.
And we're talking probably 2, 3 months ago, through different people, I'd heard that people were refusing to come into the cafe to have tea because there was a witch upstairs and I was
Mm,
upstairs. Yeah. And I really hate to say it, but they were people of faith.
mm.
And I have
Can't believe
nothing.
it happens still, can
I
you?
know, literally. So I did a post about it because I was very much like, I welcome everybody into my community.
Yeah,
There is no, I'm very much, I always say if they took the time to know who I was and what I do, you call it prayer, I call it a spell.
yeah.
There is no, for
No
me, I feel
different.
like there's no difference. We just share different ways that we practice and what we do.
Mm. Like
But
if
yeah,
I put
so
the crucifix on, you wouldn't go, oh, sorry.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Is that's
crazy.
it? Yeah, but I felt there was this judgment on me
Yeah.
immediately as a person.
Or tea
To the
shop.
Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, but to be fair to them, they actually were like, they're not who we want in here either, them. If
Yeah.
they can't support you or know
Yeah.
you
So
and
much
get to know
judgment.
what you're doing for the community. But
Mm.
then I found out as well that our big local vicar, he's heard all about me. They've even had a meeting, there's a witch in town, and oh, I know. I'm like literally. So, but of course, what it did for me, it's made me even prouder and made me stand out even more. I mean, I literally walk along the street and I don't care what day it is. I have big flowy dresses and I just float along the street and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
here. And I want other people, and it's not that that's a show off, that's,
No.
be seen, be
Mm.
proud of who you are. It doesn't matter who you are, be
Mm.
proud and yeah, and be seen. So I've had some of that. So, but as I say, it made me stand even stronger to
Well
before.
done. Because I
Yeah,
just think
thank you.
that
Yeah.
it must have wobbled you, and it
Oh,
is.
it did.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was literally, oh my gosh, I'm on the wrong path? Am I literally going to kind of come into work one day and
Yeah.
there's going to be stuff written all over the wall? I was like, oh my
Keep
gosh,
her
what's
out.
going to happen?
There's a witch. There's a witch.
Yeah, I know. Although I'm not actually quite sure because I do feel that that is the other thing. I do kind of feel that people are like, oh, she's a witch though. So
Yeah.
we're not quite sure.
Yeah.
And then of course, I've had the people come up to the shop and they're like, oh, I see, it's the occult. And I'm like, not quite. But then obviously I always use my joke of like, I'm like, oh no, we sacrifice children on Tuesday. Other than that, I'm like, oh gosh. But I just think, oh my, that, the stigma that's attached
Yeah.
to who we
Yeah.
are and what we do. And I'm like, if they,
Yeah.
I mean, they look at my shop and it's like, it couldn't be any further
Yeah.
from that.
Self-care,
Yeah,
self-love, manifesting money or
yeah,
abundance and happiness.
yeah.
There's no, I love the devil. I'm going to sacrifice a crow. I'm going
Yeah.
it's just, yeah,
Yeah, and it's crazy that people, but I understand it's out there still, but I think that's why this is so important
yeah,
to kind of come
yeah,
forward and show who we
yeah,
are and actually, what we do and how much,
yeah.
I'm just thinking, wow, well, if you think that me standing barefoot, loving talking to the wind and the rain and the trees and
It's so negative.
I
It
know,
causes
it's
so much
annoying.
damage.
And if you see me, if I sort of step on something, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is
Yeah,
all, I'm thinking if you could see that side of me. But
yeah.
I guess that is the world we live in. So
It's scary.
yeah,
It's a
still,
real shame. And I think obviously it does come from films and, the media. Because what I don't know about the media, because what I see on social media is really positive.
yeah.
I don't understand why it's still such an issue.
I think you're right, though. I do
Mm.
honestly believe it is fear-mongering still, what they don't know. And also movies. I mean, the amount of people. that still come into the shop and say, oh, tarot, I've never done tarot and I wouldn't want to touch it. And
Jinx.
and I'm just, so I mean, I teach workshops, so I do workshops as
Mm.
well. And some of that, a lot of that is intuitive. So it's all intuitive
Yeah,
reading because I feel
yeah,
that's really
yeah,
important for
yeah,
not just, I say to people, you can use all of these things in everyday life. This is you connecting with you
yeah,
in however you're doing it.
yeah.
And I said, there really is nothing scary. I said, we all pull the tower card and everyone goes,
Everyone goes, oh my God, my life's over. And I'm like, well, there's scarier ones than that. But
But then I'm just very much like, actually, you know, life has to crumble sometimes.
yeah, it's
You know,
exciting to get there.
yeah. I mean, I know people think I'm mad, but I go, oh, great, we've got the tower card. I'm like, what's coming
Or if
my way?
someone gets the death card, they're like, oh, I'm going to die. I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, exactly. So it's about trying to reinforce all them things as well, how actually pulling your card a day can be so
Yeah,
empowering to you. And, we all need to hear, something, and using a tool can
yeah,
help us a lot. But that is you connecting with you. And, that's what I try and say to people. So before I allow anyone to read the book, anyone who comes to my classes, they're all like, "Oh no, God, don't pick up the book." Anyone so anyone who comes to the first, like anyone who's come a few times, and then if someone goes to the old ones, they're like, "Oh, don't pick up the book. She'll have a go at you." I'm like, I won't have a go at you. I'm just like,
yeah. Just
what
because
do
you
you
need that
see? What do you?
validation, don't they? They need to go, get
Yeah,
it right,
yeah.
done it right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that whole getting no one
yeah,
trusts. But
yeah,
it takes time. And I say to them, it takes time. Everything takes
yeah.
time. But,
Yeah, and I think lots
yeah.
of people are so obsessed with tarot. I think tarot can be quite harsh.
Yes.
Right, like it's like I don't know, it's like a parent over you telling you off sometimes, where an oracle card could be more like your mate. You
Yes, I
more
love
like
that.
keep going on
Yeah.
the path, or it's nice.
Yeah, it's like, I normally say to people, if they say if I do a reading, I mix tarot and oracle, so I'm guided as to which one to do. But I'm kind of like, for me, I feel like tarot is the slap in the face. It's like,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is what, whereas oracle's like, let's take a seat, let's make a cup of tea, let's sit down, talk about
yeah,
this. Whereas
yeah,
tarot is just like, this is what you're doing.
yeah. So
So,
would
yeah.
you actually, well, so go back to you saying that you're a
Yeah.
witch. When did you discover that within yourself? What actually happened?
Well, probably the same as many of us.
Mhm.
Small child. Um, 5, 6 years old, unaware, my favorite thing, fairy tales are my favorite things.
Mm.
Um, and but it was also very much I would be in the garden, I would be chatting away to all these people around me that I thought everybody could see, but apparently it was just me.
Always
Or
schizophrenic.
yeah, all
Like,
that as well.
I've often asked myself that, am I?
But then I'm like, well, do you know what? If I am, it's really great fun. But yeah, so it was, talking to all the people in the garden, and I had lots of friends that were all of that. But then I was very much a loner, very much felt like I didn't belong
Mhm.
to with anybody, anything like
Mm.
that, and then it was the whole thing of being in my um grandparents' garden, and I would just kind of go and pick berries, leaves, I'd find all these things and I'd make them all into little potions. But then I had this real feeling that I needed to go and offer it. It wasn't just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to make a potion. It was like there was like a real kind of ritual to it. Not that I knew I was doing that, but it was
Yeah,
the whole, I had everything laid. I mean, this is, a 6-year-old
yeah,
child. So you
yeah.
kind of
It's
think, no
beautiful.
one's ever taught
Yeah.
me this. And then at the very bottom of the garden, they had like a wild garden. And
Mm.
that is where I believed that there was something there. And
Yeah.
I was offering it to this. So whether that was the Fae or
Mm.
however it was, but it just, for me, whether it was the Mother Earth, and I had no idea of my whole connection at the time. But it just felt the most beautiful, natural thing to do. And then obviously as I was growing up, I was brought up in a very Christian household as well. So
Wow.
that was very difficult. Not in a bad way, but obviously there was points where I was very much kind of like, don't be silly, that's not happening. You can't see it. So
Mm.
You know, we go through that point where it's
And
very
you feel like
much,
you're losing your
yeah,
mind, and you want to fit in and be
yeah,
liked, loved, and
yeah. And I just never did. And I wanted to be a fairy and I wanted to wear fairy wig. You know, it was all of them
mm.
kind of things. I just wanted to be different. No, I didn't want to be different. I was different.
Yeah, you want to be
I
yeah,
wanted to be
accepted.
that person.
Mm.
But then you go to school and everyone, I guess, if we call it, you know, everyone was, you know, normal. And I was the very odd one out. Um, and so it kind of just sort of left me, even though I don't think it ever truly left me. I think it did kind of
Yeah,
like, you know,
yeah,
and
you have
then,
to push it away just to see
yeah,
if you can survive, really.
yeah.
Yeah,
But then obviously you go to work, you know, you go to school, you go to work and do your thing. But there was always little bits that I was doing that I never really realized I was doing. Like I kind of created a little altar at home, but hadn't really realized
yeah,
I'd done that.
yeah,
You know, so there was all things like that. And then I'd always still want to go and buy unicorn, you know, books on, you know, unicorns and the fae and dragons and magic and, you know, things like that. So, and every time we went for a walk in a forest or by the sea, I was like, oh, I just felt like every time my soul was
yeah,
coming home.
yeah.
And then I had a car crash, which then ended up being having a near-death experience,
Wow.
passed over, met my nan. We had a very long conversation, but at the time I was going through a lot of, you know, my own personal
Mm.
traumas and things like that. So actually, the very strange thing was I didn't actually want to come back. So I really wanted to stay where I was. I was
Gosh.
like, this is
Yeah,
where I want to be. But my nan and the conversation was very much like, no, you have to go back. This is not your time. There is so much for you to
yeah.
do. You just don't understand yet. You know, you need to go and do this.
Mm.
So kind of long story short, obviously I came back. Um, and uh I have like metal plates in my leg. I had to learn how to walk again. You know, it was
How
all of,
old were you with this?
sorry, how old?
How old were you?
I would have been in my, because I would have been about 32 maybe.
Yeah. Mm.
So, you know, so we have kind of gone, you know, there's been a
The
long
Saturn
period of
return.
time in
Mm.
between where I
Mm.
haven't been me, you
Yeah,
know, what we was, you know, the whole corporate jobs, you know, I've had the same as every, you know, it's been
yeah.
doing all of that. Nothing ever felt right. All I've ever wanted to do is help people. That has been me since I was a small child till
Mm.
now. I just want to help people. And I've realized that a lot of the things I've gone through, some are not for this, but there's other things, you know, so lots of things that I've been through. But I realize now that so many of them things are what has got me to this moment now. It's allowed me to help other
Yeah,
people.
because you understand on a deeper
Yeah.
level. Because you've
Yeah.
been
And
there.
yeah, you know,
Yeah,
everybody's story is different.
yeah,
And you don't sit there kind of going, oh my God, yeah, I know that, you know, because everybody who has been through an
yeah,
accident will feel different, has gone through,
yeah,
but you can
yeah,
sit in empathy with them and kind
yeah,
of, you know, be like, actually, I hear you, I
yeah,
see you. Um, and and so after that, I actually, this is going to sound really crazy because actually after that, I very much dismissed everything. I was like, my whole spiritual self just disappeared. I was like, because I was like, why did I come back? I didn't want to come, you know. Um,
yeah.
and then I had literally a breakdown, and I was like, I need to find myself. I literally sat
The
there on,
universe really did like put you in the pit of hell,
yeah,
didn't
I
it?
know. I
Like you're
was,
gonna right, well that didn't work. We'll put you into another one to
yeah.
see if you can climb out of this rock bottom and then we there. Wow.
Now I now I understand. I say to people about their guides, I'm like, listen, if
Yeah.
you don't listen, they
Yeah,
really
it's
do.
awful. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
So it was from all of that
Mm.
that I then kind of was, but actually I realized, you know, as we know, the darkness leads to the light, and I was very much like, who am I?
Yeah.
I lost every part of me, and I was like, I have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, in this, so I lived in a very built up town before I came here to Suffolk. This little holistic shop opened up, and I stood outside. There was a sign in the window that said, you know, what was coming, and I stood there and I cried. I was like,
Oh,
oh my gosh, this is amazing. I mean, it was a shop that didn't belong there at all. And it was like, oh my goodness. So, of course, when they opened, it was just,
yeah,
crystals, witchy things, everything. I was
yeah,
like, and I literally stepped inside and I was like, my soul has come home. I was like, this is it. And then from there, I signed up to all their courses just because I wanted to
yeah,
feel it again, be around the
yeah,
people again, understand. And the
yeah,
more that I did it, I just expanded, expanded, expanded. I was like, oh, this is it. And then, yeah, I just started to be seen. It was like, this is who I am. It took a while to probably only the last couple of years to actually say, I am a witch
yeah.
because
Do you hesitate with that, or do you just actually just say it now?
I just say it now.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I fully step into that and am so proud because I don't feel like it's just for me. I feel like I'm speaking for the women that went before us,
yeah,
the women
yeah,
that are to come,
definitely.
and to show them that there is power to empower.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just kind of like, so I never feel like I feel like I'm saying it for me, but I feel like as I say it, it ripples out
yeah,
and,
yeah,
it becomes again that kind of like, yes,
yeah, yeah. So true. That's beautiful.
yeah,
That is really
yeah.
beautiful. And what about your loved ones? Did they find that weird, or did you have any, experience with the witch wound personally, like onto you from like people that
Um,
you love or trusted?
I actually felt very lucky, I have to say. Even though my mum, as I say, is still a very Christian lady, goes to church, does all of her things. When I actually, said, this is who I am,
Yeah,
and obviously just, my life is this, everywhere you look, it's around me. Um, she very much kind of accepted it, and actually she's come to a few of my things that I've put on and she's fully embraced it. So I was very lucky with
oh,
that.
good.
My husband's been so supportive and has, supported every change that's happened and just allowed me to be, well, allowed, that sounds a terrible word,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah,
does,
yeah, yeah,
be open
yeah,
and never put anything in the way to be like, oh no, that's a bit
yeah.
much, or, my children are
How old are your
fully supportive.
children?
So my son is 27 and my daughter is 24. So,
Mini adults. That's what I
mini
call
adults, yeah, mini adults, yeah. My daughter, not spiritual at all. My son is like a mini me.
them. Oh, that's
So,
very good to know.
yeah, so
Wow.
something like that. But no, I do have to say I felt
Yeah.
very lucky with family. I mean,
Mhm.
some friends have, you know,
Yeah, come and go.
disappeared.
Mhm.
Yeah. But after I did started to do a lot of my healing, because that's why I trained as a master spiritual life coach and energy psychologist, because I really wanted to be
Yeah.
able to help people, but I
Mhm.
wanted to be able to do it properly.
Yeah.
So, and also that meant I went on my healing journey to
Yes.
understand
Yeah.
myself and
Yeah.
all of
Yeah,
them.
that's beautiful.
Yeah. But I don't like the word coach for me
Yeah,
because
I don't
coming
like
from
the
a
word
corporate
coach. I
background,
don't
I'm
know
like, oh,
why. I don't know why. I just have this real ick of life coach or spiritual. It's like,
I
I don't
know,
know.
I
You're a
know.
guide or a helper or I don't know, a therapist or I just don't know. It just has a
Yeah. I
weird
think
thing
that's
with it.
why I changed it to mentor because I feel like
Yeah,
it
that's
felt like a
better.
better
Yeah.
word. Because I feel like if I was going to be a coach for
Doesn't
me,
seem
for what
enough, does it? The word coach
no.
isn't, it's
But,
too sporty. It's
but
not.
I know, but also I feel like I was going to like whip out my flip chart. So, but here we
Yeah.
are. And I'm like, no, corporate world gone. And there's
Yeah.
something, but for me, I'm totally different when I mentor, but it's always magic involved. So I like to do it very differently. And I was like, again, that was something about stepping out and doing it differently. Why does it have to be the same?
Yeah.
If we're
Yeah.
going to do some form of letting go,
Yeah.
we'll do the whole coaching, we go through the whole thing. But if we're going to do some letting go, out comes the cauldron, the pieces of paper, we put it through and
Yeah. Yeah.
and the amount
Yeah.
of people that have said, that have cried, that have felt so empowered by just doing something so simple like that.
Yeah.
So all of my coaching, if we do inner child work, it's a case of we might go to the woods and I'm going to be like, right, what do you want
Oh,
to wear?
how
I'm going to
beautiful.
be like, what do you want to wear? I said, because I'm going to come full
Yeah.
on fairy wings.
Yeah.
I'm like, literally, I'm like, why does inner child work have to be so,
Yeah, exactly. It
we
doesn't fit.
no,
Doesn't actually
we want
fit
to
with it
play.
at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we want to play.
Yeah.
So come, let's all wear fairy rings and let's run around the forest. Then let's sit and let's welcome in our maiden, let's bring
Yeah.
her back in.
Yeah.
Let's heal her. Let's understand her. So it's bringing all them elements together. But
Yeah.
it's always with magic, always with that around it. So I
Amazing. You do
love
really
it.
good work. Really good work. So with do you work obviously with mainly women?
Yeah, well, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's women seem to,
Yeah. Need
I don't
it.
know,
I
we
don't know.
need it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
we
need
need a
it.
voice. So,
Yeah.
um,
And do you see the witch wound with your clients?
I do. There's so many of them that
Yeah. How does
are,
it come up, do you feel, with
it's
people?
it's generally always, oh, I can't say that. I can't say that, or or I've never been able to wear that, or I never say this because I'm always frightened of,
Yeah.
so it's the judgment from others of if I wear that, if I say that,
Yeah.
if I do this, if I, you know, and of course, especially with the stuff that we do, people are, if they come to one of the circles or they come to do tarot or something like that, tea and tarot, they're like, oh, you're going to go and do your weird stuff again, or and so they're like, also I lie about where I'm going, and I just think, oh no, this is so sad.
Right. And
I
the weird
know.
thing is, these people they're worried about their loved ones, that their mum or their sister or their friend. So it's
Yeah,
this judgment of people that they've got in this tight, loving circle anyway.
yeah,
I find that's really sad because
yeah,
they should all be supportive.
yes, yeah, and you're right. It is
Uh,
generally there, and
yeah,
it
who's
is
going to
generally,
find out on social media? Oh, no, I can't
yeah,
put that out because someone might see it on Facebook. I'm like, and surely,
yeah,
is that okay? Doesn't matter if they defriend you or defollow you, does it? Because they obviously weren't meant to be in your life.
yeah.
Really sad.
And
Really sad.
it is sad as well. I think it's always more, it seems to be a lot more with
Mm.
people with their families though, because obviously everyone's like, oh, it's my
Yeah,
family, I can't do this, I can't say that, I can't, so it's always that thing
yeah,
like, when we always start off with something, it's like, who would you be? If you could be anyone right now, like who would you be?
yeah,
What would you do? How
yeah.
would you dress? What would you wear? How would you want your hair? If you
Yeah.
could be whoever you want to
That I
be,
find unbelievable. I'm like, just, why mold in and copy everyone else?
I know.
Because it's just,
No, that's boring.
and I always think as well, it's more of like a energetic level. You open your wardrobe up and you think, okay, how do I feel? What do I want to, show the world how I am today? Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Pretty weird.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I was wearing my big flowery dress, really long, I always have my Dr. Martens on as well, but but
Yeah.
big flowery dress, all colourful. And I went down the stairs from the shop the other day and they were all like, all the women were like, oh, you look amazing. I was like,
It's
thank
not,
you.
it's like really weird.
I know,
Come
but they
down as
were
an
like,
elf.
I know that is actually a very good shout, Em. I might do that. That would not surprise them, honestly.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, just all I ever do is just wear my
Yeah.
jeans.
Oh, I
And I was like,
wish I had the confidence to wear that
yeah,
dress. I'm like, it's really not that hard.
do
If you
it.
like it, put it on, you'll feel amazing.
Yeah. But then what comes with that is the judgment of someone saying, why are you wearing that on a Monday to
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Well,
town?
look at you. You're being
Yeah.
all out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
But there was this lady. So another thing about just empowering people in seconds as well, making them feel amazing. There was this lady yesterday, no, Saturday. I was walking along the street with my daughter. We'd gone to visit them, and we're walking along this high street. And this lady, I could see her on the other side of the road, and she had on this long black skirt that was all tiered, all sparkly. and a jumper tucked in, this jacket, just walking her dog, walking along. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh my
You
gosh.
look
I was like,
amazing. Yeah.
first of all, I need to find out where she got that skirt because I love it.
Yeah.
And but two, I need to tell her how amazing and
Yeah.
gorgeous she looks.
I think this should
And
happen more often.
yeah. And then I
Yeah.
didn't see her. And then suddenly, literally, we came around the corner and she was right in front of me. I was like, oh, excuse me. She was like, oh, what? I said, I
Yeah.
just have to say, one, you look amazing. I said, you
Yeah.
are rocking that skirt and that outfit. She was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, thank you so
And
much.
it makes
I was like,
everyone's day. You're
yeah. I
saying
was like,
that and lifts them up.
honestly.
And it's that, yeah, that is
Yeah.
definitely good.
And why can't we do that? And I said, and two, I
Yeah.
do need to know where you got it from. But
Yeah.
other than I said, because I also need to be like, oh, but no, I loved it. But it was just, but it feels amazing to be able to kind of just say that.
Mm.
And there's no, I'm not looking, like sometimes you might look at another woman and think, wow, you are beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at your
Yeah.
radiance.
Yeah.
Look at your energy. Look at how
Yeah.
beautiful
And
you
we
are.
can't say this to a
And
stranger.
why can't people? I mean, I go up to, and I'm like, you look absolutely beautiful. I mean, I have to say, Emma, you are literally one of the most beautiful women I've
Oh,
ever
bless
seen.
you.
And I know, literally, I mean, I'm like always in awe. I'm like, look at her hair, look at her dress. I'm like, oh, you
Thank
are an
you.
inspiration. You have inspired me so much.
That's very sweet of you.
But
Thank
you see, you have inspired me to actually, it's all right to wear flowy dresses and be
Oh,
me,
that
kind
made
of
my
thing.
day.
Oh,
Lovely.
but so, and why can't we then say to other women, you look
Yeah.
beautiful and your energy is amazing and wow, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it needs
Yeah.
to happen. I've just been
Yes.
away with my daughter in St. Ives for the weekend, and we were walking down this little cobbled street full of shops, and these two women just like fell out of this shop, like literally pounced on us and said, "Oh, you look so beautiful, you look so lovely together." And my daughter's face just literally lit up, and it was so
Yeah.
lovely. And these women were probably, I don't know, in their late 40s, 50s, saying that. And I was like, good on you. That's really lovely to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I think we
Yeah.
should be doing that more
Oh
often.
my gosh, we should
Yeah.
100%. But then you also then know when you're getting, because I think it's also empowering to be able to say thank you.
Yeah,
Because we don't do that enough.
we
So
don't. No.
you
And to be
say to a
honest, that's
lady,
something I do struggle with. I've always had this, "Oh, if someone praises me, I'll say, because I've never had it as a kid, never been,
yeah,
praised like that. So my husband mocks me whenever he says, "Oh, you're beautiful," or "Well done," or I sort of go, "Oh God, I really am like inside." I'm like, "Oh, it's really struggling." But I have to go, "Thank you," and I
thank you.
feel it and mean it and go, "Yeah."
Yeah. It is funny, it is because everyone, as
Yeah,
soon as you say like that to someone else, and they're like, "Oh no, no, oh I didn't do anything to my hair. Oh no, this, oh no, oh this old thing, oh
yeah,
this."
yeah, yeah. Or normally I would say, "Bless you," and like, "Oh, don't." Then my husband and my daughter pull me up and they go, "No, just feel it." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yes.
something I need to embody
So
more
you need to
in
work
my
on
life."
that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, but I think
yeah,
like one of the things when I work with with my clients is very much like they can't look in the mirror. And I used to be the same thing. I would never. So when I first started, I could not look in the mirror. I could not look in the mirror and even say I like you, let alone I love you or
yeah.
anything like that. So it took
No.
me bit by bit because when you don't know what you're looking at, who am I? What, So, and then, I was looking at my scars, I was looking at my leg, I was looking at all of it. But actually, then I started to kind of day by day, took a while, but day by day, I'd look at my scars and go, actually, that has taught me this. And I
Yeah,
can still walk and I can do this, and I can do that. I
yeah,
put all the scars on my belly, and I'm like,
yeah.
actually, I love you. What a goddess of a
Make
woman.
two amazing kids.
Yeah,
Women worry that our bodies change so much, but it happens without kids. With
yeah,
or without kids, your body's going to change probably every month.
yeah,
It's always something amazing.
yeah.
That's the
And
reason why.
And so
Mhm.
it is just kind of like being able to empower yourself and just love yourself and look at yourself
Yeah,
and think, actually, yeah,
yeah.
Um, and I mean, now I literally look in the mirror in the morning, I'm like, oh, I love you. And I'm
My
like, this
mum
goddess
was
has
a
got it.
nightmare. My mum used to strip off naked and look into a full mirror and just actually love it all and say how beautiful she was and that she could get any man and she was full. She was a model in the 70s. And I was
Oh,
like, yeah,
wow.
that's a lot to look up to. That's
I,
yeah, you're fierce.
yeah, but the way I look at it is I think that, when you look at all the goddess figures that are made and things like that,
Yeah,
well, most of them are voluptuous. They're all,
yeah.
they have
As
a
for
figure
women,
that, yeah,
yeah,
so
and they're actually aging as well. They're
yeah.
actually wrinkled
It's,
in marble stuff. You're like, wow.
it's like, she's got a wrinkle. This is fantastic. I'm just going to
Yeah.
document it. But, and it's like, so why can't we love ourselves? Why can't we, because I think the
Yeah.
more that we don't do things
It's
like
such
that,
a short
again,
life. It's too,
yeah,
yeah, it's so short. So it was pointless
yeah,
worrying about things like that,
yeah. And
isn't
it's
it?
why save your best dress for a
Yeah,
day
to wear it
when
every
it'll
day,
come?
right?
Exactly. Wear it every day. I'm gonna totally rock something tomorrow now at work.
It's more comfy as well. It's
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, it
to be
makes you feel
fair.
good. Yeah,
Yeah. But to be
yeah.
fair as well, like wearing a dress and tights is so much easier than trying to having to put together a two-piece anyway. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's nice and easy.
It's also a jumpsuit. That might be quite good.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Easy one
jumpsuit.
though.
Yeah. So if you were going to give some women some advice, who are listening to you today, what's your advice about, healing the witch wound or about sisterhood or what you've covered today?
Yeah, I think some of it would be I'd kind of say some of the points I've said. I'd be like, let's support other women, let's, really kind of like support that. But I think as well, like the witch is finding out a lot more about you as a person and kind of like, who are you? Why do you
Yeah.
not like yourself? Why do you not want to do this? Because we always know that there's possibly something behind that as well. So, but take small steps, take small steps in finding you, in
Yeah.
finding, who you want to be, how that looks, because I think sometimes as well we get very
Yeah.
overwhelmed with like, oh yeah, I've got to do it,
Yeah. It should be like
we
this, should be like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
because we all do, social media can be a great thing, but it can also be a bad
Yeah.
thing because
Yeah.
because we see all these perfect things or what we
Yeah.
think is perfect, but I'm
Yeah.
like, imperfection is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing is
And when you
perfect.
find yourself, you see the world in a different light anyway, don't
Yeah.
you? You realize social media actually is a bit of fun and it's fine. You sort
Yeah.
of work through it all. So it's
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah. And so I think it would be very much like just stripping yourself down to the bare bone and then working from the inside out
Yeah.
because you have to work from the inside out first. Because because we can all do things with our hair, we can all put some
Yeah.
makeup on, we can, I was that
Yeah.
person. It was like, it would be like you'd paint it on,
Yeah.
everything else. And there is nothing, I've got nothing wrong, I mean, I have color my hair. It's like, in fact, all of the things, fake nails, everything, perfect, do it. But first of all, when you're stripping yourself back down, it's like you've got to take all of that away and be like, who am I?
Yeah.
And you have to kind of feel brave enough to step out naked and be
That's the
vulnerable.
witch's way home right there.
Yeah. Oh,
Isn't it?
but it is there, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
stepping in, and that is, that,
Yeah.
and again, it's speaking from that's what I did. I literally stripped away everything, and I was like, okay, I want to see who I am, but I need to see it from the inside out, and that is what I would say to, any woman. Just embrace who you are. What is it? Ask yourself that question. Who, if I could be anybody
Yeah.
right now, who would I be? How would you act? How
Yeah.
would you dress? Because ultimately, that is who you then want to be.
Yeah.
How do you want the world to see you?
Yeah. And be that
Ask your,
person now, not,
yeah,
I'll wait. Wait
yeah,
till I get to here, or wait till I do that, or wait till my kids leave home, or wait, you know, just
yeah,
be.
yeah, just be,
Be.
just be.
It's so easy. I'm like, just take that step forward.
But we all know what it's like to take that step forward. And when we live
Yeah.
in that world of, and I guess when they don't, because there's so many women who are like, I'm just so confused and I don't know, I mean, when I run like little moon circles,
Mm.
which is mainly women, but we do gatherings where men come
Mm,
to it as well. But
nice.
again, that's just trying to get women to hear other women
Yeah.
and to support other women
Yeah,
because
and be inspired by someone. And
yeah,
I love the different ages. I love it when a
oh yeah,
20-year-old woman can give advice to somebody in their 60s. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. And how
So
beautiful is that?
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
everyone's equal. Everyone's the same,
yeah,
And the wisdom that's flying around in those kind of circles is just so beautiful.
yeah. It really is.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you so, so much for
You
doing
are
this.
so very welcome. Thank
Thank you.
you
How
for
can
hearing
people
my
find
story.
you?
Oh, how can people find me? Yes, this is good.
Yeah, how can people find
Yeah, how
you?
do people find me? Yeah.
I'll
Um,
put it in the news, but how can people
I was
find
like,
you
yeah.
if they're listening?
Uh, so just thinking Instagram, it is The Witch of Suffolk. And I have a website which is obviously exactly the same, www.thewitchofsuffolk.co.uk. It's a new website, so uh, and then I think on my Facebook I'm Heather Taylor
Okay.
on there. This is terrible, isn't it? It's
No, this is good. This is
like you
good. And
should
I'll
know who
put it
you
all in the
are.
caption anyway, so that's absolutely fine.
Um, and then obviously there's the Magickal Emporium. So
Yeah.
there is that. Yeah, I think that's the Magickal Import underscore Suffolk. So, but again, I can share that with you.
Yeah.
But obviously, you can
Put
see
it
all the
all in the
links that go.
captions.
Yeah, that go
Yeah,
on there.
definitely. Well,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
you are so very welcome.